Welcome to my channel, 7 Tech. My name is Curtis, and we've got a big case to take a look at today. It is the Lian O11 Dynamic Evo XL White Edition, and we're going to be doing an unboxing and a kind of first look at it. This is going to be used in a build in an upcoming video where the bigness of the case is definitely needed. So let's get it unboxed and check it out. To start off, let's see if it's anything like my O11. We're going to unscrew this here, and this just pulls back to take off the top. And there is a dust filter here, just like my O11 Mini, but I have the fans up here on mine as exhaust, so I don't use that dust filter. I don't see a need for filtering my exhaust air. And then looks like one screw out the top here, and the glass, pulls off, and another screw here for the front panel glass, and it's going to just pop out as well. This case can be configured completely upside down as a reverse install. I don't know what they call them. I call it upside down case, where the motherboard would be completely flip, graphics cards on top, and I'm assuming that's what this panel is for. You probably take it off, which allows you to swap the feet to the bottom. So we're just going to go ahead and put that back on. We will not be using this case in that configuration for the upcoming build. Let's see here if we can get a shot of it. But it's just going to pull off from the top, work it down. These are some very tight little, whatever you call these things that hold it in. Comes out, and there's little feet, or not feet, but notches here that's got to go in. So don't try pulling from the bottom to get it undone. It's top off, comes out. And one of the filters came off. So it's got magnetic filters that just sit on there. One of the cool things about this case is that they sell a mount sold separately that allows you to mount the GPU vertically right here. It comes with a long PCI extension cable, and you can mount your GPU vertically there. We won't be using it that way. The upcoming build is actually going to have 2 graphics cards in it. So that brings me to the point of the motherboard tray. One of the reasons I picked this for this build is the motherboard tray can be moved up or down however you need it. So we're going to move it all the way up, so we have plenty of room for the 2 GPUs. So let's take a look and see how we do that. Now to undo that, this one, here, here. There's one here. You just gotta kind of give them a little push and they pop out. And there is the motherboard tray. It also makes it pretty nice for building, because you can build up your motherboard on the tray, get everything mounted, and then get it in there, rather than having to build inside the case. Now let's see how we move it. Now we're gonna have to take off this here, little grill, and one down. Actually, that one will not come off. If you wanted to move the motherboard all the way down, you would take this grill here off. We're actually moving it up for the upcoming build. So taking this one that was up here, gonna move it down here. Now we can move our motherboard tray up, leaving plenty of room for airflow. There's gonna be fans here intaking from the bottom. It's gonna be fans here intaking. So these GPUs are gonna be nice and cool. And they're also gonna have lots of room for breathing. let's take a look at the back here. So we've got some drive trays, 2 drive trays. They pop out. Nice, easy access, allow you to slide them in. It's even got backplane connectors in there, so that's really nice. Just like hot plug them. I did not know it came with that. That is really nice. I like those backplane connectors. So you can just slide your drive in there and be done with it. So it's actually trays. I thought you just slid the hard drive in, but it's actually trays. You just loosen this, slide it over to open, and you can pull the tray out. So mount your 2.5-inch drive or your 3.5-inch hard drive. Slide it back in, slide that over that way, and lock it down. That's pretty nice. I like that. Let's take a look at the cables that we have in the back panel here. You got all your black cables. That's going to be for your drive cages, a set for your bottom drive cage, set for your top drive cages. Your white wires are going to be going to all your front panel. So we have 2 USB 3.0s. Not many motherboards have that. They usually only have 1. Might have to see about an adapter or something. Wonder, maybe it comes with one. We'll have to check the accessory box. You got your front panel audio, and here you have addressable RGB for the front here. There's a little light strip going down here, addressable RGB, the SATA power to power that LED strip, and a USB-C, I think it's called USB 3.2. I may be wrong there, don't quote me. And that's what we have for the back. I also noticed that if you don't want to use the drive cages for your 2.5-inch drives, and you can, there's mounts here for 3 of them. But I personally would use the drive cages, unless for some reason you need that space. I think it's nice to be able to just pull it out rather than having to undo 4 screws. Just 1 thumb screw, pull the cage out, pull the sled out. Let's check out the front panel connections, USB ports. This front panel here is removable, and you can move it to different places. For one, because like I said, this case can be inverted, and you can move the feet, front panel connectors, everything to the bottom and have an inverted case like so. But you can also, little clip here, pull this and it slides up. You can also move them to the side, but I don't have enough slack, so we'll have to get some slack for that. But they can go right here as well. Same way, slide them in and clip in, which is where we're going to put it for the build. But for now, we'll put it back here. You got removable dust filter here, super nice. No screws to remove or anything. Just grab it, clean it out, stick it back in. The fan mounts for all 3 places, here, here, and here, are all removable, so you can mount your fans and then drop them in. You don't have to be fumbling with a screwdriver getting your fans in like that. So Lian Li's website said that all these fan mounts, the top, the side, and the bottom, can hold 3 120mm or 3 140mm fans. But this sure does look like it can maybe hold 4. So I want to see, I've got some Lian Li uni fans. I'm going to grab them, put 4 of them together, and see if they can fit or not. I'm curious. Here are the 4 120mm Lian Li uni fans. So let's see. I'm just going to hold them on the top here and see how they line up. And they do not. Just a little bit too long. Man, you think they would have thought of that, and a half an inch and you could put 4 in here. It's half an inch bigger. Let's see. I'm sure the bottom, it's going to be the same story. Yep. Just barely. And top. Yeah, the top vertically. Darn. So that answers that question. Another thing I like about this is, for one, all the thumb screws. That's nice. Almost toolless. But these little doors here, took the thumb screw out, pop that, and you can just pull all your PCI covers out toolless. Another thing I like about it is that if you wanted to mount your GPU vertically, there's no horizontal pieces of metal here that are actually fixed. Some cases, even though you take these PCI covers off, there'll be little pieces of metal all the way across to cover these little bitty gaps that you see between the PCI slot covers. So if you mount a GPU vertically, you either have to cut those pieces of metal to get them out of your way so you can get access to the display ports and HDMI ports. But this one, you don't have that problem. You just remove these, put your GPU there vertically if you like, and you're good to go. Another thing that's nice about this case compared to my O11 Mini is that it takes a full-size power supply, full ATX. Mine takes a SFX power supply, so I was more limited on what I could select, and at the time I could only find a 750 watt SFX power supply, which my system gets pretty close to that. I would have liked to have had at least an 850 watt. But anyway, this one takes a full-size ATX power supply, and even we have a 1200 watt that's going in here. So not only is it an ATX, but it's actually a very long PSU as well. So this case can support it. That was one thing I had to check when we were picking this case out, because I knew that the 1200 watt power supply was a very long power supply. I had to make sure there was going to be enough room for it, which there is. This case has it all, man. It's big. So if you don't like big cases, which I kind of don't, but if you need the size, which this upcoming build will, I think this is the case to get. Another good thing with these type of cases where the power supply is in the back is you have so much airflow. So we'll call it conventional cases, have the power supply in the bottom, so you have a power supply basement. So there's nothing you can do down here. You can't put fans, you just have a basement with the power supply in it, hunk of metal covering it up. So you typically only have fan intake here and exhaust here. This case has intake here, so we're going to have an intake blowing in here, intake blowing up into the graphics card, exhaust here, and one exhaust here. Now this here is only 120 millimeter fan. Everywhere, all the other fan mounts are 140, or can hold up to 140 millimeters. Another cool thing with this case is that if you were to drop the motherboard tray to its lowest position, you actually get an extra mount for 220 millimeter fans. If you, it'd be like this. But as you can see, you have to drop that motherboard tray all the way down, which that's not the config I'm going to be using this in. We want the motherboard tray all the way up. All right, let's see what we got in the accessory box. Got the manual, little case to hold our accessories, got a bunch of extra screws, Get your rubber grommets that would go on that SSD tray on the back panel there if you wanted to mount your SSD tray, your SSD there, rather than use the drive sled trays. And a few extra other little pieces in here. So you got an HD audio front panel connector extender in case that what's in there won't reach. Got another cable management little thing that goes on the back of the case here, so you can run more cables behind it for cable management. And these two, which are pretty nice, they actually go, so if you, depending on where you put your fans, you're going to have some gaps here. Depending on where you put them, you're going to have a gap, which these will go right there and snap in to fill that gap, so you don't have this ugly open space at the bottom. You can have 1, 2 of them at the bottom. You can center them, have one up here and one up there. And the other cool thing that's in here that you get, I don't know of any other case, not saying there isn't one, but I don't know of another case that comes with one. And it's a GPU anti-sag bracket. You push that in and it allows you to adjust this up or down. And what it does is your two motherboard standoffs right here. You'll put your motherboard in, and rather than put screws in to secure your motherboard in these two, it comes with more standoffs. So just another standoff like this. So you'll do your motherboard, and then you'll screw another standoff in there, and then this will screw to the standoff. And it'll hold your GPU up, keep it from sagging. I think that's a nice addition. So there it is, the Lian Li O11 Dynamic Evo XL White Edition. It's a nice case. It's a big case. It's big because we need it to be big for the upcoming build. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified when that video comes out. It's going to be pretty cool. It's got 2 graphics cards in it. It's going to be, I believe, 2 4070 Ti's. It's going to have all Lian Li uni fans, Lian Li streamer cables, Lian Li AIO. So make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified for that. If you're in the Alabama-Mississippi state line area down on the Gulf Coast and you need a PC built, repaired, or some kind of troubleshooting, reach out to me. Let me know what's going on, and I might be interested in taking it on for a future video. You can find all the contact info down in the video description. My name's Curtis. Thanks for watching 7 Tech.